You're watching Entre Nous. On the show today, we're pleased to welcome Candace Bushnell, creator of Sex and the City. The book, which was the basis for the hit HBO show about four New York women, Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte, and Samantha, living and dating in the Big Apple. Candace has a one-woman show coming up at the Folies Bergère here in Paris on the 26th of April. Candace, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. You'll be returning to the city where Sex and the City essentially ended. What can audiences expect from your show?
Well, my show is really the origin story of Sex and the City. It's about how I wrote Sex and the City, how hard I worked to get there, why I invented Carrie Bradshaw, and what happened to me afterward. And we will find out about the real Mr. Big, those real friendships. And there's also a game, real or not real, because there's so many things that happened in the TV show that happened in my real life, but they're either better or worse.
Did you ever think that the column you started out writing in the 90s would become part of the cultural zeitgeist like it has?
Well, I knew that when I got the column, it was my big break. And of course, I'd been writing about women dating, money, power, and sex in New York City, really for about 10 or 15 years before I started writing Sex and the City. So I feel like I really knew what I was doing. And the column was a big hit in New York City. And there were lots of people who were interested in turning it into a TV show or a movie. And I ended up going with Darren Star and HBO. And I suppose the rest is history.
Sex and the City was so iconic in the way it portrayed sex, women, relationships, touching on issues like abortion, affairs, what have you. How would the show be different today, given the political and cultural divisions within American society?
Oh, I always think that that is such a hard question to answer because, the show is really of a particular time when there really weren't supposed to be any single women. And now, of course, I think that those Sex and the City years are part of every woman's life. And women in their 20s and 30s have this period of time when they're dating, they're figuring out their careers, and they have lots of girlfriends who are in the same situations. So I think that the technology is different, but the emotional realities are probably the same.
In an interview, Sarah Jessica Parker said her relationship, which she had, Carrie, with Mr. Big on the show, in today's worldview, would be viewed as toxic. Do you share that?
It probably would be. We've gotten much more, I think, critical of actually probably pretty typical dating behavior. But I always like to say that in real life, Carrie and Mr. Big probably would not have ended up together. But on the show, the audience has been watching their relationship for 6 years. And I think if they didn't end up together, the audience probably would have been a bit upset. It is a TV show and not necessarily real life.
Indeed, but it is still part of the cultural zeitgeist. But I want to finally ask you about how the show would go on to become two movies, and then it was eventually rebooted, but without the fearless Samantha Jones played by Kim Cattrall, rather. What did you make of And Just Like That? And in your opinion, did you think it pushed the envelope as much as the original show did?
Well, that's a little bit of a hard question to answer. I watched it and I enjoyed it. And I think I know a little bit too much about, the background of how they make the show, etc. And I think that TV is very different today than it was 30 years ago when they made the original Sex and the City. It's much bigger now, it's much more expensive, it's much more over the top. And I think that it fit in with TV today.
But do you think by
And
ticking off so
I
many
enjoyed it.
boxes, it didn't it lost what the original had essentially?
Well, I think that a lot of people watched it and enjoyed it, and that's really the bottom line for me. I'm not in charge of it creatively,
Mm.
so I say, hats off to the people who continue to make it and keep it going. So I'm always very proud of Sex and the City and the spin-offs, and honestly, I couldn't be more happy.
I mean, it's definitely been a part of, I know, my life, my friends' lives. Thank you, Candace Bushnell, for what you've given the world. And your show will be premiering here in Paris on the 26th of April. So if you're in the city, you should go and check it out. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on France 24. And that's it for Entre Nous.
Oh, thank you.